1. Welcome back, everybody. It's your boy Kev. We got Ty, we got
Yes,
Chris,
sir.
and right now we're reacting to the Bonfire on YouTube. Top 5 bingeable scary stories on YouTube by Mr. Ballin. So please like, comment, and subscribe to his channel. Come back, like, comment, subscribe to our channel. Also follow on TikTok, Intuned Entertainment, so that way you can be part of the show. Because when we go live, we'll be live here, interact, give you a shout out so we can comment and say whatever, interact with that, and then you'll definitely get a shout out on the YouTube and you'll be famously known to your friends and family.
How about that?
Without further ado, the Bonfire.
Oh, and we read comments on the next.
Oh yeah, we
video.
definitely do. So if you leave a comment now, even if you're not following on TikTok, if you leave a comment now, the next video, like either we do the podcast or reaction video, we'll read the comments, we'll reminisce what we went over on the previous one, and just have a good laugh. This is an interactive channel. We're here to entertain you as best as we possibly can, and we love for you to be part of our show.
Absolutely.
Let's be a family, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, as soon as Chris gets back, we'll start the Bonfire.
Without further ado.
Simply put, a goth is someone who finds beauty in things that most other people consider to be pretty dark. But most Americans tend to associate the term goth with teenagers from the late 90s and early 2000s that wore all black and wore heavy black boots and would hang out in cemeteries. And while that representation of goth culture is, of course, limited, it is a good representation of the two protagonists in today's story. Best friends, Rachel and Molly. In the 1990s, Rachel and Molly were full-blown goths. They had black hair, black makeup, black clothes, they had the black heavy combat boots, and at one point they and their other goth friends started hanging out in a cemetery to be kind of ironic and funny, like look at us, we're goth, we hang out in cemeteries. And then they actually enjoyed it and began hanging out in the cemetery like every weekend. One Friday night, Molly calls Rachel to go hang out in the cemetery. And as it happened, Rachel was just sitting at home and she bored out of her mind, and so the call came at the perfect time. And so Rachel's like, yeah, I'd love to go. So she flies downstairs and she sits on her front step and she's waiting for Molly to show up. And eventually Molly's car rolls down the street and Rachel immediately recognizes that Molly is the only one in the car. And Rachel, whenever she would go to the cemetery at night with Molly, they were always there with a group of at least 4 people. Even though they liked hanging out in the cemetery, they did recognize that it was a little bit creepy at night to be out there. And so they like kind of rolling in a fairly big group. And so Rachel hops in the car, and her first question to Molly is, where is everybody? Are they meeting us there? And Molly said, oh no, everybody else is either working or they're kind of hungover from the party from last night, so it's just us two. I hope that's okay.
No.
And at the time, Rachel actually in her head was like, no, I don't really want to do this anymore. But she was like, oh yeah, that's fine. We'll just go. Just the two of us, it'll be fine.
No.
Molly takes off from Rachel's house, and she makes the familiar winding commute to the front gate of this enormous cemetery that sits right in the center of town. They drive underneath this massive wrought iron gate that looks very medieval, very foreboding. It looks like it's out of a cheesy horror movie, this like cliche entrance to a cemetery. And so they go through there and they're on this road that stretches all the way down through the cemetery and basically splits it in two. On the left side, as you're driving in, was an area closest to town and also butted up against a major public university. And then on this side of the cemetery, you had a bunch of residential houses that butted up against the side of the cemetery. And where Molly and Rachel and their crew liked to go was on the right side, all the way back in the corner, because there was a section that was kind of situated between these two hills where not only were they obscured from the cemetery road and the main road once they were down in this little depression, there was also no houses that happened to look over that spot. So it was kind of like the hidden section of the cemetery. And there was also this big boulder that people sat on and a big tree you could lean up against. So that was their spot. So Molly drives in the gates, she heads down that road, and she
Molly's
gonna
kill Rachel.
A dead end road. She takes that down about a couple hundred meters.
I've seen this story before. Not this story, but stories.
Play out like similar to this?
Oh, okay. That's just beyond where this dead end comes to an end. So they walk down this hill, and it brings them to this clearing where this big rock and tree is. Rachel hops up on the rock and turns around, so she's facing back up the hill. They just walk down, and Molly is right next to her on her right, leaning up against the tree. And for the next hour or so, they just crushed cigarettes and talked about their various boyfriend drama and life drama and whatever else they wanted to talk about. After a while, the girls started to smell a bonfire. And from where they were sitting, they could see a hill in front of them, and there was actually another hill over here. And so their view is pretty obscured out of this little valley they're in, so they can't see any fires anywhere. And so they assumed that what they're smelling was a fire coming from the other side of the cemetery, because there's that huge university over there, and they knew sometimes the college kids would come onto the cemetery and they would light fires over there, and inevitably the police would get called and they would break up the fire because you're not letting them fire on the cemetery. And whenever they did that, the police would actually make rounds around the entire cemetery, and historically, basically, if you were there hanging out, they would tell you to leave. And so they think, okay, this is probably a good time to leave, because probably in the next 30 minutes to an hour, police are going to be here, they're going to come over here, see our car, they're going to ask what we're doing, and we're going to have to leave. So let's just leave now. So Rachel hops off the rock, and the two of them begin meandering their way back up the hill towards the car. When they get about halfway up the hill, they notice to their right something bright. Now, because they were higher up, they could actually see over the hill to their right. What they were seeing was the top of a bonfire. So the girls take a couple more steps up the hill to gain some elevation, to hopefully be able to see better down into where this fire is. But even when they're up almost at the top of the hill, that fire is too far down on the other side of that hill that they can't see any people, and they can't really tell how big the fire is. They're just basically seeing the top flickers of it. Even though they don't know anything about the people over there at this fire, what they do know is when they showed up, there was no fire over there. They would have recognized it. So whoever's over there had to have shown up and built this fire while Rachel and Molly were down at the rock and tree, which means there's a pretty good chance they didn't see Rachel and Molly. This is a pretty private area. Their car was parked a little bit off to the side of the trail. And so Molly picks up on this, and she says to Rachel, hey, let's sneak back down and walk up their hill and look down and see who's here. I bet it's a bunch of college kids. It'll be funny to see what they're doing. But Rachel had a weird feeling about it. She's thinking to herself, if this is college kids.
No. You would have set up this? You see the shenanigans there.
No.
You don't.
No. I'm saying no. I'm saying no because I want you to say it.
Okay.
So, no.
All right. So here's how it works. Molly, Rachel, we're gonna go to the cemetery, do what we normally do. Rachel, where's everybody? I don't know, work, something, probably so hungover from the night before.
Yeah.
How you that hungover from the night before? Y'all high schoolers. I'm not to say that's not possible.
Yeah.
But it's now night.
Yeah.
So you can't be still drunk from the night before
part,
to go to the cemetery and just chill. Because we going to the cemetery right now, we chilling.
Yeah.
We could have went out last night and went crazy, right? Now we chilling. We ain't doing nothing. First mistake. As Chris said before, when your gut is telling you to do something right here, you don't do it.
She should have told her that she didn't want to do it from the rip that time when she asked her to come on, and she was like, "Man, you know what? I might as well go." No, you should have told her I'm good.
Told her, I'm gonna stay home.
It ain't a bunch of us. Right. I'm cool. I'm gonna stay home.
Now you there. Y'all don't know where this bonfire come from. Y'all can't see over the hill to get a better view. Let's go around. It's probably a setup that Molly had put in place. All right, bam. We just gonna go down there because it's probably some college students doing all that, this and the third, and we'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah, whoop-de-whoop, yeah.
Whole time, Molly is just like, "Nah, I'm trying to get you down here. I got so and so to help me set up to kill you." Ain't nobody dumb.
Perhaps.
Yeah, we'll see.
Why would they have their bonfire this far away from campus? I mean, this is literally the farthest point away from the side of the cemetery that's close to their campus.
What I'm trying to say.
If they're having a party over here,
that's what I'm
there's a
trying
chance that anybody going to it is going to need to
hit the lights, y'all. Hit the lights.
And that just doesn't make sense. You can just walk to the other side of the campus and have a bonfire over there. And so Rachel is logically deducing that this is probably not college kids. But who else is having a bonfire
in the
secret section of the cemetery in the middle of the night?
It don't matter.
Rachel's thinking that now, if the police come here, they're definitely going to see us because we're so close to this bonfire. And so it's probably not a good idea to stick around much longer. But despite Rachel's hesitations, she is intrigued and she does want to see what's going on over there. So the two girls walk down the hill, they make it down to the rock and the tree, and they turn left and they begin walking up this other hill the hill that's going to bring them up to this fire. And so they only get a few steps up this hill when they're suddenly hit with this disgusting, putrid smell that just encompasses them and makes them gag, and they're covering their mouth and their nose. And Rachel exclaims,
He's burning bodies.
That makes sense. We're in the cemetery.
This guy's burning bodies. Bonfire.
Maybe I was wrong about the setup.
His mind jumps from organ stealing.
You still haven't figured it out yet.
My best friend's gonna murder me.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right.
We didn't get there.
Still,
you might have jumped the broom.
Yeah, I might still be right here. You know, we're gonna find out.
You jumped the fucking cliff. Let's go.
"Oh my God, what is that?" And as soon as she says it, she realizes she's really loud. She's like, and Molly's like, and they both freeze, wondering if the people on the other side of the hill have heard them. And after a little bit of silence, Molly's like, "Can we keep going?"
No.
And Rachel's like, "No, we gotta go." Between the horrible smell that's obviously coming from this weird fire and the fact that Rachel basically just gave them away. And so for all we know, these people on the other side of this hill have heard us, and now they're waiting for us to come over the edge, and it's gonna be really awkward if we suddenly crash their bonfire. Rachel, she's thinking about these things, and so she's like, "Let's go, we gotta go." Molly's disappointed, but she gets it, and the two girls turn around and begin walking back. So they walk past the tree and the rock on the left, they turn right, and they're about to walk up the hill that's gonna bring them to their car, when Rachel just turns around to look at the hill towards the fire where they were headed before. And standing at the top of that hill is a man just looking down at them. And the fire is illuminating him from behind, and they can clearly tell it's a man.
So
Run.
Yeah.
Run. And I mean run like you were just freed from prison. You need to run. That bus is coming in 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes to get to that bus stop.
You know the song that's playing?
You need to run.
You know the song that's playing?
1,000 miles and running. That's the plan in my mind. 1,000 miles and running.
The joint with
Yeah.
That's what it in my head. When run. The whole challenge. Matter of fact, the only thing that man should be able to see is the outer lines of the smoke I left.
There you go.
And the dust from my car peeling off.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, man. Looking at them, and immediately the girls felt really uncomfortable. It was almost like they had just been caught spying, even though they didn't actually get caught spying. It was what they were going to go do. And so they felt like they had almost been caught red-handed. And so Molly and Rachel just turn and begin walking up the hill, kind of with their heads down. They just felt kind of awkward. And so they move a few more steps up this hill, and Rachel looks again at where this guy was standing, and he's now gone. And Rachel's relieved, but then she realizes he's gone because he's power walking down the hill towards them. And Rachel gasps, and she grabs Molly and pushes her and says, "Go, go, 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 go." And they start running up the hill, and Rachel looks around, and now this guy is running towards them. He's down now at the rock and the tree. He's gaining on them. They sprint up over the top. They run to Molly's car, and Molly's fumbling with her keys to get the car open. And
can you pause this?
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
Because see, at this point,
Why do they always fumble, bro? No, it's not that deep. It ain't that deep. It ain't the whole way. Beep, beep.
Yeah.
Lock door. It's not that deep, bro.
That's it. Come on. Hey, man, give me some more.
It ain't that deep, bro. It ain't that deep.
Come on,
What
man.
if it's a 2001?
Shut up.
No, right, because they got key fobs too, man. Come on. No, Chris.
No,
what?
no.
I got a 2003,
my
bro.
Taurus.
Yes,
I lost my key fob with my Taurus. I had to use the key.
See, but it had a key fob though, right?
It did at
there
one
you
point.
Go.
But maybe they didn't have one. Maybe it was that. Get the key in the hole.
Either way, why is you fumbling?
Let me paint you this picture.
It's night.
Let me paint you.
You gotta line it up.
Hold on, I'm pulling out the canvas. Okay, I got the canvas out.
All right.
I got the canvas out. I'm paint you this picture. By the hue.
All right.
Suburban area.
Ooh.
They dress gothic because that's how moody teenagers act.
Okay.
Parents,
Okay.
make sure that they got a car to get from A to Z and back. Not A to B, not A to C, A to Z and back.
Okay.
Preach.
She got a key fob. Beep, beep, nigga. Beep,
beep. Yeah.
Okay? I don't want to hear no excuses.
Yeah. My battery went down. Fuck that.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Beep, beep, it worked.
Mm-hmm.
My picture is done. You can hang it up on the wall. I want 10K.
That's it. We need to get as many likes for this episode as we possibly can. Run it up.
Like and subscribe. I'm giving you gems right here.
She didn't have a key fob.
No, nobody know that.
Jump inside, Rachel locks the car doors, and as Molly is turning the key over, Rachel's looking out the back.
Turn the key over. Told you.
And sure enough, as they pull off, she sees his head come up over the ridgeline just enough that he can clearly see them leaving, and then he ducks back down and he disappears. And the two of them speed down the road, they make a left onto that main drive, and they speed out of the cemetery. For the first few minutes of their drive, neither of them say anything. This was just a very
He's gonna come out of nowhere.
And his ass is getting ran over.
They thought they were going over to spy on college kids having a bonfire, and then they're hit with that horrible smell. Like, what was that horrible smell? And then they leave, and there's this guy who did not look like he was a college kid. He looked like he was probably in his 40s, and then he's chasing them. You know, what was that? And when they did start talking about it, they couldn't really come to any sort of rational conclusion of what had just happened. And so they were both very spooked, and they decide, let's just go home and talk about this tomorrow. And so Molly drops Rachel off at her house, and Molly goes home, and both girls go to bed. The next morning, Rachel gets up, and she heads down to the kitchen, where her mom is already there having her morning coffee. And Rachel sits down, and she's not a big talker. She's not about to start by saying, hey, guess what happened to me last night at the cemetery? Instead, she just sits there, and for a little bit, her mom just kind of rambles about work and what she's doing that day. And then all of a sudden, her mom, it's like she has this epiphany. And she goes, Rachel, did you hear what happened last night? And Rachel's like, no, what? And her mom's like, someone I work with. I don't know her personally, but she works in the same building as me. She got kidnapped from the parking garage where I parked my car. I had seen her park her car in this lot. And she got kidnapped. And Rachel's like, oh my God, really? Like, what happened to her? Did they find her? And her mom's like, yeah, but it's too late. The person who kidnapped her killed her, and then finally disposed of her body in the cemetery by burning her in a bonfire. Rachel suddenly felt sick because now she knew what was happening last night, and she knows what that smell was. Rachel immediately pours her heart out about everything that happened the night before, and her mom is totally horrified, but she's in particular horrified that they clearly had been there when the killer had arrived and set up shop and began burning his body. They were just literally 50 meters away the whole time. And so her mom tells her, you and Molly have to go to the police station to make a statement. They have not caught this person yet. You've seen this person. You've got to help. And so Rachel calls Molly and breaks the news about what was actually happening the night before and who was actually chasing them to their car, and says, we have to go to the police station. And so they agreed to go down to the police station, and they tell them what happened, but they didn't get a great look at him. They only say that he was maybe in his 40s and maybe average height. And so the police wrote it all down, but they basically said, look, if you can think of more details, we would love to hear those.
There is no more details. They didn't see a car. Nope. They didn't see a body.
Exactly.
Did he see us? Does he know that we saw him? Do you think he knows that we know he's a killer now? And so they're freaking out. But luckily, within 48 hours, the police actually caught this guy because he was driving around in the murder victim's car, and someone spotted him. They pulled him over, and he confessed, and so he went to jail. Needless to say, Rachel and Molly thanked their lucky stars that when they started ascending that hill, they were hit with that smell, that Rachel said, let's not go any farther. Let's leave. Because had they continued and gone to the other side, they could have wound up in the bonfire too.
That's wild work right there.
Well, goddamn.
Wild work right there.
That's why you don't go into graveyards.
I gotta make sure that the oh no, we did. All right, cool.
Yeah, we don't go into graveyards.
We don't do that.
Part.
Don't do that. And
don't play around with the dead.
because it's kind of like, thank God they did, because they would never have found out. Now he still would have been caught because he's driving her in that person's car.
Yeah.
So he would have been caught, but you know he probably could have got away with stolen car versus murder and then stolen car. So don't do that. Don't. It's okay to be goth. Just don't do cemeteries. It's such a dangerous place anyway.
It's okay to be goth. Just don't do goth shit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So if you guys like this video, you're gonna like the other ones that's on here on the channel. Please go follow Mr. Ballin. Like, subscribe, and comment on his channel. This is the top 5 bingeable scary stories, close calls. Then like, comment, subscribe on our channel, and then also follow on TikTok, Intuned Entertainment.
Excuse me, thank you,
bless you. Where you can follow and be part of the show. Little man can't stay up, but it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I've been Kev, Todd been Todd, Chris been Chris, Elijah been Elijah, you've been you. Let's stay in tune.
Yes, sir.